New year and new videos to make. But what video to make next? What topic? So many to choose from. Inspiration. Campbell, tell me if my books arrived from the library yet.
Okay. And I had one extra for you.
I think I've got it. Hello and welcome to This is Public Broadcasting. I'm your host, Captain Rutledge. When considering the best children's fantasy novels of the 90s and 2000s, one may consider the Magic Treehouse books, Discworld, or even Harry Potter. One, though, stands out from the rest. Brian Jacques' Redwall series. First released in 1986, Redwall was written by Liverpool author Brian Jacques about a young mouse named Matthias leading the Abbey of Redwall in battle against the evil rat Clooney the Scourge. The book was a hit, receiving a nomination for the Carnegie Medal and creating a whole series of novels based on the surrounding world of Redwall Abbey and Mossflower Woods. The books were such a hit, in fact, that several production companies approached Jacques regarding film rights to the series. One company, Molitor Productions, approached Jacques in 1991 regarding a film of Redwall. Like with his other novel series, Castaways of the Flying Dutchman, Brian Jacques was reluctant to grant film rights to his books, thinking children should read the books for themselves. In the case of Redwall, though, a TV series was decided on, produced by Nelvana in Canada and Alphanim in France, using the Animo software for the series animation under the direction of David Jailfis. The stories were adapted by Jacques himself, with technical consultation from book cover artist Chris Baker. Music was written by Jack Proker and Daniel Fernandez, and performed by the Czechoslovak State Orchestra. The series aired on Channel 5 in the UK and Teletoon in Canada in 1999. PBS, however, was reluctant to distribute the series due to its very violent nature. Instead, American Public Television sold the series to PBS member stations beginning in spring of 2001. Eventually, the series left the airwaves in 2006. The first season was based on the first novel to be written, Redwall. As the vile sea rat, Clooney the Scourge, plans to overtake Redwall Abbey and enslave its inhabitants, the spirit of Martin the Warrior calls out to the orphan mouse Matthias to take up his role as Abbey Warrior and retrieve his sword from the serpent Asmodeus' poison teeth. Helping Matthias in his quest are the young Cornflower, the wise Abbot Mortimer, the elderly record-keeper Methuselah, the badger mum, Constance, veteran soldier Basil Staghair, the young Sparra Warbeak, and the shrews of the Gowsm.
What is the Gowsm? The Gorilla Union of Shrews in Mossflower.
From a critical standpoint, the first series is good. The animation is usual TV quality, nothing to write home about, and the action scenes are The strongest points are by far the adaptation from the novel and the voice actors. Tyrone Savage has the energy of young Matthias, while still giving good emotion when it is called for.
I tell you what we'll do. We'll be ready. We'll stand firm. We'll stand together. We'll fight him.
Diego Matamoros, meanwhile, makes Clooney a villain you just love to hate.
Extra rations for every mouse tail you take. Keep the end up! Cheese thief, you bungling moron! Up, curse you! Ugh. Scrag, take over.
The other voice actors do a very good job too, such as Alison Pill as Cornflower, Chris Wiggins as Abbot Mortimer, Wayne Robson as Methuselah, Janet Wright as Constance, and Richard Binfleet as Basil Staghair.
Basil Staghair's here! At your service, expert scout, hind-leg fighter, wilderness guide, and camouflage expert.
With the first season out of the way, the next season produced seemed a pretty obvious choice. The sequel to Redwall, Matameo. Matameo occurs many seasons after the war against Clooney the Scourge. Matthias and Cornflower are married, and their son, Matameo, has grown to be a spoiled troublemaker. During a feast, though, Matameo and the other Abbey children are kidnapped by a mysterious fox slave named Slagar the Cruel. Matthias, accompanied by Basil, Jess Squirrel, an orphan otter named Cheek, and the badger warrior Orlando the Axe, must then track down Slagar and bring their children back to Redwall. Back at Redwall, meanwhile, Cornflower, Constance, Abbot Mordalphus, and the other Abbey inhabitants must deal with an army of crows led by the cruel General Ironbeak. Compared to the last season, Matameo is a huge improvement in both animation and battle sequences. Not perfect, but still an improvement. The voice cast is as good as ever. Tyrone Savage returns as Matthias, this time sounding much older and more experienced.
It is only a sword, Matty, and one day it will be yours. But only if you become good, gentle, and honest.
And strong.
Strong, too.
Voicing his son Matameo is Michael Cedar. Cedar gives Matameo an immature, spoiled characterization, fitting to the character, but does become more mature as the season continues.
I know you're watching me, Martin. I had to fight Vitch because he said things about my father. He insulted my family. If father had known, he wouldn't have punished me. But he's my father, and I can't talk to him like I talk to you. It'd just sound like an excuse. I've got to go, I'll be in more trouble.
Returning to the series are Richard Binsley as Basil, Susan Roman as Jess, Janet Wright as Constance, and John Stalker as Abbot Mordalphus. Alison Pill is replaced by Melissa McIntyre as the voice of Cornflower, giving an older, more woman-like voice.
Father Abbot! Father Abbot, wake up! They're attacking the poor thing. If we don't do something, they'll kill it.
What? Attacking what poor thing? Where?
A big red bird, over by the pond.
Find Constance, quickly. Get all available moles and bring them here.
Other new voice actors include Anthony Becken as Orlando the Axe, Wayne Best as General Ironbeak, and Kyle Fairley as Cheek. I think I might be forgetting a member of the voice cast. Who could it be? Ah, yes. The voice actor for Slagar the Cruel. Shall I say he's simply smashing.
And your father did this to me!
Yes, Tim Curry appears as the voice of Slagar. Just like nearly all his work, this performance is downright enjoyable. Calm and collected while still threatening and vicious.
Half-tail! I want slaves to sell, not dead meat. Give 'em water. Bertie? Tell Three Claws to watch for my spy. Soon, I will have my revenge.
During the airings on PBS, each episode of Redwall was bookended by a featurette featuring author Brian Jacques discussing facets of his books and schoolchildren exploring the world and animals of Redwall. It's interesting stuff, made entertaining by Jacques' sheer enjoyment of it all.
Is every child who ever read the book or will read the book. Matthias is the mouse is the child, and the mouse is the hero. And it sounds a bit odd that a mouse can be a hero, but a mouse is a harmless creature. You never heard of a child being lost in the woods and eaten by a grizzly mouse. Matthias is the little kid who wants to become a warrior.
The first two seasons of Redwall were such a huge success for Molitor Productions and Nelvana that talks were on for a third season. But what could it be? Granted, they could do a sequel to Matameo and focus on his son, Martin II's quest in Pearls of Lutra, but what about Martin the Warrior? How did Martin become the great warrior revered by all of Redwall? That is most likely why the third season took a look at how Martin became such a great warrior, with the aptly titled Martin the Warrior. After years of slavery under the cruel stoat Lord Badrang the Tyrant, a young mouse named Martin escapes from the fortress of Marshank and ventures with Rose of Noonvale and Grum Trencher to lead an army against Marshank to bring down Badrang and reclaim his father's sword. Badrang, meanwhile, must put up with attacks from escaped slaves Feldo and Brome of Noonvale with a troupe of performers, and harassment from an old enemy of his own, the lecherous pirate Captain Trom Clog.
Cut your napping there, mateys! You've all gone soft playing at being landlubbers.
In my humble opinion, when compared to the likes of Redwall and Matameo, Martin the Warrior is somewhat on the same level as Matameo. The animation is somewhat of a downgrade from Matameo, but the battle scenes are nonetheless captivating. The voice acting, just like the other series, is still pretty darn good. Amos Crawley voices Martin. His performance is very good, angry when called for, but not overly serious 24/7.
You won't break me, Badrang! I'll live, Badrang! Do you hear me? I'll live and take back my father's sword!
Lindsay Connell voices Rose, a very sweet, soothing voice like in the novel, but fierce and fiery when needed.
Goodbye, our friend, and thank you. It makes us sad to leave on this summer day. We're sure to see you somehow next time we pass this way.
Diego Matamoros returns to voice Badrang. A good performance, but in my opinion it's far too similar to Clooney and Redwall.
Get going before I use you for target practice! Double the wall guards, and Scalrag, slip out and follow them. I want to know what they're up to.
John Stalker gives an enjoyable performance for Claw, along the lines of Tim Curry as Slagar.
So, will you slip ashore and ask him handsome-like to fit us out with a few roe beasts?
Right, Captain.
And if you won't, I'll use Slit his gizzard, use his Scholasmith figurehead, and take him anyway!
The cast is rounded out with Graham Haley as Grum, Luca Perlman as Brome, Ali Mukadam as Feldo, and Deborah Odell as Palom. Like with the first two seasons, PBS showings of Martin the Warrior had Bookend Featurettes featuring much the same material as before, albeit hosted by teens. Furthermore, viewers were given a look behind the scenes of making the Redwall series for television.
The heroine of the show is just bringing the character to life by giving her some action and some movement.
There's 24 frames that make up 1 second of film. So that means that for an animated movie, we have to draw the frames instead of the camera just taking a picture of the frame. It's actually 16 to 18,000 drawings in one episode. That's a lot of drawings, eh?
All this taken into account, how is the series as a whole? Fantastic. Sure, the animation was slow to start and some adaptation choices didn't exactly work, but the voice acting is nonetheless phenomenal and the battle scenes become better and better as the series progresses. All the same, the original message from the books remains: anyone can be a hero, no matter their size or background. After production of Martin the Warrior was completed, talks were in the air of Nelvana producing a 4th series, most likely either Mossflower or Pearls of Lutra. However, it was finally deemed financially unfeasible and abandoned altogether. Attempts were made to produce a Redwall movie, but these all proved failures, and the only film made was a compilation of episodes from Season 1 for PBS pledge drives. Brian Jacques continued writing Redwall books, with 21 novels released and 9 companion books. In 2011, he passed away from a heart attack. His final Redwall novel, The Rogue Crew, was released posthumously. Currently, a video game is in development for Steam and Xbox, set prior to the events of Redwall and featuring new characters to the series. The release date for the game has not yet been announced, but Steam Early Access for the first level was released on December 18, 2017. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to watch the Redwall TV series, the episodes of each season have been released on both DVD and home video, along with Amazon Instant Video and iTunes. Want to see the source material? Check out your local library or bookstore and experience the adventure and fantasy that started it all. For This is Public Broadcasting, I'm Captain Rutledge. Good day.